Okay, big question. Are anti-nuclear protests in Kudankulam being foreign funded? That's the allegation that the Home Minister has made. It's an allegation that the government is repeatedly making. Joining me now, Subramanian Swamy, Janata Party leader and member of the NDA, joins me here. Also joining me is Veera Raghav, our senior editor who looks at the South closely. Dr. A. Gopal Krishnan, former chairman, Atomic Energy Research Board, joins me from Hyderabad, and Prashant Bhushan, senior lawyer who's been appearing for the activists of Kudankulam, joins me as well. Appreciate all of you joining me. Subramanian Swamy, you are among those who have accused the Kudankulam protesters of being Naxals, of being supported by the LTT, of being foreign funded. Are you simply maligning these villagers who today fear for their future? Are you telling me that those innocent villagers who were being fired upon yesterday are foreign funded?
I never said the villagers are. I said they are misled. And now the LTT factor is very clear. Vaiko and Tirumavalan have already joined in Madras. You call that throwing of stones and pelting stones in government buildings as part of an agitation?
No, foreign funded. You know,
now let's come one at a time.
Foreign funded
First
is the allegation you have
LTT,
made.
I'm taking care of the LTT. Now let's get to the foreign funding part.
Yes.
Is it not a fact that Mr. Uday Kumar has got a notice from the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act Authority?
Yes.
He has diverted money which he got for cultural activities from Christian organizations from abroad to this agitation, and he's got a notice for that.
Dr. Swamy, may I also point out that the government lodged this complaint in the first week of March. We are now in September. Till today, the CBI has not filed an FIR. Are you just maligning Uday Kumar and others by saying they're foreign funded?
CBI filing, and it is depending on his replies. His replies have not yet come. He has this is a process. I'm surprised that you should expect the CBI to act any faster.
No, I'm asking you, where is the evidence, sir? I'm asking you, where is the evidence?
It's a evidence with the government. The ministers have said it. The Prime Minister, who is normally very reticent about these things, he has openly said it, is the United States and France.
United States and France, you are saying, are behind this agitation?
I didn't say the Prime Minister said it.
Prashant Bhushan, the question which which Subramanian Swamy and others are raising, and which perhaps NGOs have not answered successfully, who are involved in these anti and nuclear protests, is what are the sources of their income? If the NGOs are not violating the Foreign Contributions Regulatory Act, why are they hesitant to disclose their sources of income?
Well, the same kind of charge was being made against India against corruption as well, that we are foreign funded, that we are funded by all kinds of corporates, that we are funded by the RSS and so on. We put our entire accounts on the website. Yeah. Every single paisa that we received has been put on the website. Uday Kumar and others challenged the government and the Prime Minister to produce a single shred of evidence that they were being funded by any foreign organization, or these protests were being funded by any foreign organization. Not one shred of evidence has been produced, and this red herring, complete red herring, is being tossed about to answer very serious questions about the safety of the plant.
You know,
the people there are agitating because they are concerned and fearful about the safety of the plant.
Dr. Swamy, I think let's settle this.
Own committee.
Dr. Swamy, let's settle what Prashant Bhushan is saying. Where is the evidence? Let's put two of you first in the face.
Evidence is in the letter written by the Home Ministry to Mr. Uday Kumar. Let him put it on online. And his reply, what is his reply so far? He has admitted that he has been getting money from a Swedish group called Idea.
What is the evidence behind that?
Please, what is the evidence behind that? That is something which you will have to explain once the notice has come. The notice has come on the basis of a solid evidence that the money was diverted, and therefore he has been asked to explain. He has not yet explained.
When it suits Dr. Swamy, he is happy to believe the government, the Prime Minister, the CBI, etc. When it does not suit him, he casts all kinds of aspersions against the CBI, against the Home Minister, against the Prime Minister.
It's not a question of shooting, it's my commitment to the truth.
He accepts anything, any cock and bull story that they may spin out.
Right. Okay. Just a minute. Dr. Gopal Krishnan, we are hearing two views, Dr. Swamy and Prashant Bhushan. In the din, is the real issue being lost? The real issue that many would say is quite simply, On the one hand, the benefits to be had by having Kudankulam there in a state like Tamil Nadu suffering from a power deficit. On the other hand, the real issue of nuclear reactor safety. How safe is the reactor? Have we done enough to protect the interests of the people who live in the area in the event of, God forbid, an accident at the site? Should that be the focus of the debate now?
That's the first of all about the foreign funding.
Yes.
I have studied the Indo-US deal and its formulation very closely during all those years, and we have even written a book jointly with the late Dr. P.K. Iyengar. At that time, I had personally observed, all of us had observed, that there has been a great deal of money being peddled from both sides, from the Indian side and the United States side, to buy influence in various quarters.
Yes.
And so this foreign hand and foreign money, as long as it is helping the Prime Minister and his group and the atomic energy sector, then it is not talked about. And people like Uday Kumar, by the way, I know Uday Kumar for almost 20 years. Uday Kumar has put his entire assets on the website. And if someone can prove that Uday Kumar has hidden some assets somewhere else, then well and good, let that be done. Let me leave that. The issue on which Prashant Bhushan has filed a SPL, Special Leave Petition, SLP, is extremely important, because the Atomic Energy Regulatory Board, after the Fukushima accident, formed a committee to look at the safety of the Kudankulam plant, and they came up with 17 specific points on which modifications and additions have to be made to this reactor before it is brought to power.
Yes.
One would normally assume when Atomic Energy Regulator has said that the Department of Atomic Energy will carry through those modifications before they start the plant.
Yes.
But it has not happened. Those modifications will take anywhere between 8 to 24 months. Various ones will take various lengths of time. Now, who are they fooling? I mean, on the one hand, and I'm not going into the technical merits of it, because it is said by the nuclear establishment themselves.
So you're
that you need to make these modifications.
So,
and then
so you're saying keep the focus. So you're saying keep the focus on the serious issues of safety without raising the issue of foreign funding.
Foreign funding and all that, Mr. Swamy is talking nonsense. This is people like him.
I think this kind of language,
this
you
foreign
have to
funding
moderate,
from
I can reply. I can reply. I'm surprised he has been Atomic Energy Chairman. I'm surprised. Obviously, the government made a big mistake.
I have been, and I know what I'm talking.
Well, you are. Then you talk what you want to talk. If you want to say, I think you are talking about rubbish. Total rubbish has been uttered by you. It looks like you're working for somebody.
Hold on. Let's come away from the personal. Just a minute, Dr. Gopal Krishnan.
Rajdip, let's come back to safety.
Yeah, better come back to safety.
Let's come back to safety.
Yes,
all I am saying is, in 1979, a very similar study was done by the Atomic Energy Department after the 3 Mile Island accident.
Yes.
And that report also identified several things to be done, none of which were done, and they were shoved under. In 1986, the then Department of Atomic Energy carried out a similar study after the Chernobyl accident, and they did not do any of those modifications. In 1993, when I became chairman of the Atomic Energy Regulatory Board, I looked at all these unfinished jobs, and I wrote a report and handed it over to the then chairman. And he was furious. The report actually did not contain anything that is so confidential.
Right.
But immediately it was stamped as top secret,
right,
and the whole matter was suppressed. Even till today, after 16 years,
yes,
I have no knowledge, nobody has any knowledge of whether any of those things have been done.
So Dr. Gopal Krishnan, your
history is getting repeated.
Dr. Gopal Krishnan, hold on. You're saying that these serious issues of safety is where this debate needs to focus on, not so much on foreign funding. Dr. Swamy, you want to reply? Then I'll go to Veera.
Yes, of course.
Yes, Dr. Swamy. Let Dr. Swamy respond. Yes, Dr. Swamy. Yes.
You see, first of all, the government asked Dr. Kalam, who's a highly respected person, to go into this whole thing, and he went into the whole thing, he gave a clean chit.
Yes.
The Unit 1, there was a formal clearance given by the Atomic Energy Regulatory Board. So,
yes.
I don't know which Atomic Energy Regulatory Board he's talking about.
Yes.
No agency in the government.
I'm talking about the same thing.
Yeah, you're talking about the same thing. Well, then please go and brush your knowledge up.
Yeah. And
yes, your being chairman is being long past now.
Let's not make this personal.
Yeah,
yes, Dr. Swamy.
Let him not interrupt.
Yes.
Look.
There you are.
No, go ahead.
Now, the issue is that there is no, the Tamil Nadu government, where because Ms. Jayalalitha originally was on the side of the demonstrators, Ms. Jayalalitha adopted, set up a committee of 4 people, and they also said that it is perfectly safe. And the question of Fukushima has been regularly brought in. Fukushima was built right at the edge of the coastline, whereas this is built on solid ground. This has been pointed out a number of times. The issue is this, it's not a question of Indo-US nuclear deal. I oppose the Indo-US nuclear deal, he doesn't know about it. So the question is, here when we talk about foreign funding, it is not a question of the people. People can be mobilized at a short notice if you create fear in them. The principal actors are either LTTE, or they are Naxalites, or they are foreign funded.
No, hold on.
That is my opinion.
No, hold on. But Veera Raghav, at the end of the day, Dr. Swamy is saying Naxalites, foreign funded. These are villagers, presumably.
I'm not talking about the villagers. Please don't go back to that.
Okay,
I'm talking about the leaders.
Okay, the leaders. At the end of the day, is there a climate of fear which has been created because there's a vacuum? The government hasn't educated people there. Post Fukushima, what is needed is a solid education campaign. Has the government done enough to educate the people to the risks and the benefits?
You've hit the nail on the head, Rajdeep. The trouble is that did you have the Prime Minister going there, meeting villagers directly and talking to them directly? Did you have the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu going down there and directly talking to the villagers after the Srikakulam by-election results were announced? So there has unfortunately been no respect to the sentiment of the people, and we must remember one thing: when you make these allegations of foreign funding, you're only making the atmosphere more hostile. Remember that you're not going to be able to have a mass agitation for such a prolonged period of time with just foreign funding, and if funds was the issue, the government has more funds than any foreign agency. There has not been an effort to respect the sentiment of the people there and the right to make their choice.
And you in your reporting have found no evidence of any foreign funding as of now.
I've only seen allegations. I've seen claims, counterclaims, source-based information. Why was the allegations made directly from Delhi, from the Prime Minister's office after the agitations came to such a huge issue? And if they're foreign funded, why did you even try to engage with them? Why did you send Dr. Kalam there?
Okay, important points you make, but Prashant Bhushan, respond to something that Dr. Swamy said. The fact is, various groups have cleared this project on safety, for its safety norm. The High Court of Madras rejected the plea of the agitationists. Dr. Kalam went with the team. They have given it the all clear. Surely a time must come, Mr. Prashant Bhushan, when you are filing this plea now before the Supreme Court. If the Supreme Court tomorrow is to say that the project must go ahead, will you respect the Supreme Court or still carry on with your agitation?
No, first you need to understand what happened. You see, after Fukushima, the government itself appointed an expert committee for allaying the fears of the people after Fukushima.
Yes.
Now, for allaying the fears of the people, they said 17 additional safety measures have to be implemented. I'll give an example. One of them, for example, is the provision of alternate cooling water source other than the cooling water from the desalination plant. Suppose the desalination plant fails for any reason, whether on account of tsunami or any other disaster, then you will have, without an alternative cooling water source, you will have a Fukushima type of accident. That is why the expert committee recommended this. Atomic Energy Regulatory Board gave an affidavit to the High Court that they will not allow this plant to start unless these safety measures are implemented.
And that's what they want.
But even thereafter, without implementing these measures, as Dr. Gopalakrishnan says, which are to be implemented in the next 8 to 24 months, as they are saying,
yes,
they have given permission for loading, fuel loading, and for starting the plant.
But
Now the question is, what is the meaning of these confidence building measures if they are not going to be implemented? That is why the CAG says that the Atomic Energy Regulatory Board functions as a department of the Department of Atomic Energy and cannot be trusted as an independent regulator.
Okay, let Dr. Gopal Krishnan, yes, you want to intervene, Dr. Gopal Krishnan. What is the lesson here? Is there a lesson that people have not been educated enough on this entire project?
No. Lesson is that the government and the nuclear bosses are being highly deceptive, and they are not really wanting to open up and tell that. I mean, here is one part of the department, atomic energy sector, giving technical reason why 17 modifications will have to be made, and then the same person, same organization turns around and allows this reactor to operate 24 months without those modifications.
Okay.
So this is not rocket science. Even a court can see that on one side these people are insisting.
But weren't these issues settled in the Madras High Court, sir?
I just want to say something.
Dr. Gopal Krishnan, weren't all these issues settled in the Madras High Court?
Madras High Court. No, Madras High Court said that we cannot go into these technical issues and we are not competent, etc. But yet, on the one hand, they mentioned that they are not technically qualified to listen to the protesters. But on the other hand, they agreed with the Atomic Energy Regulatory Board, whose explanations were more technical, and that also they haven't understood. So I think I would say with all respect that the High Court judgment was defective.
No, but hold on.
And therefore, I have to mention something about Dr.
No, Dr. Gopal Krishnan, at the end of the day, we are now in a situation where the fuel loading is about to begin. Dr. Swamy, if the agitationists eventually will have to accept the court verdict, let's assume that the Supreme Court eventually decides on Prashant Bhushan's plea. If the activists accept it, what about the government's role? Shouldn't they also respond to popular concerns? People don't come out in an agitation today simply because the agitation is foreign funded. They are coming out because they are genuinely concerned. What is to be done to reduce the fear factor? That's the question.
You should have called the government spokesman here. I can't speak on behalf of this government, which I think is already bankrupt.
No, do you agree that whether it's the Jayalalitha government in Tamil Nadu or whether it's the central government, they haven't done enough to assuage the concerns, the fear factor? The
question is not a question of assuaging concerns. When these people have got into a violent mood, and they started throwing stones, they burned down police station, they burned down the post office, they stopped trains. These activities must be brought to an end first before you can talk to the people and tell them. Don't say it should have been done, I should have done earlier. I'm not talking, I can't defend the government. I have a very poor opinion of this government. I am saying that today's situation, please ask him not to interrupt.
Similar thing is happening
if he goes on interrupting, then what is the meaning of this?
One by one. Yes, Dr. Swamy, quickly.
So I'm saying that when there's a violent mob and you find all kinds of arsonist type organizations coming into the picture, I think the government has to crack down. Once it cracks down, brings in peace, then we can think of talking to the people.
You know, Prashant Bhushan, would you concede that an agitation which claimed to be non-violent has suddenly turned violent, and then you have situations which are ideologically revolting, as the firstpost.com says, of Kudankulam children writing to Obama's daughters asking for their intervention. Naturally, when something like this happens, people will raise question marks over the movement itself.
That's the Christian movement.
See, this movement has been going on for more than 400 days.
Yes.
Literally tens of thousands of people have been participating almost on a daily basis in this agitation. There has not been any violence so far, except now when the police decided to lathi charge them and tear gas them, etc. But see, when you start doing all this, then obviously the people who are at the receiving end of this, some of them get agitated and some of them also indulge in some kind of counter violence, etc. But this is a situation which is set off by a situation where you are determined and going ahead with fuel loading and operating this plant. If this plant were to be set up in Delhi, would these politicians allow it?
Yes.
If this plant were to be
I
in
would allow
Delhi,
it
where
all
the
over the
government's
country.
own expert committee has said that you cannot start this plant unless you implement 17 safety measures. Without implementing those, you are allowing the plant to start merely because it is set up in the backyard of poor people.
Okay, hold on. Swamy,
Swamy,
want a quick response?
All this has been argued. The Atomic Energy Regulatory Board has given clearance to unit number 1. And now the only thing left is to start the fuel cycle. Therefore,
so you see this as irrational fear?
Absolutely, this is the usual scaremongering tactics that we have seen.
But the flip side of it, Veera Raghav, and the final word to you, has the government, both at the centre and the states, misread the mood of the people in the area?
Yes, there has been no respect to the sentiment and the ability of the people of that area to understand, like you and me sitting in urban centres, their choice. It's their choice, it's around in that area. You've not respected that sentiment, you've not gone on a proactive measure to have them educated, allay those misgivings. No matter what the funding or the agendas are, you could have allayed those misgivings all these years. You failed to do that.
Okay, on that note, Veera Raghav, Subramanian Swamy, Prashant Bhushan, Dr. Gopal Krishnan, we will no doubt come back to the Kudankulam debate because we expect that the matter is far from over. Appreciate your joining us here. Is it foreign funded or is it simply an irrational fear? Write into ibnlive.com and tell us where you stand.